Hello, I would like to make some corrections to some grammatical errors and add some components to a speech I gave on the 14th of May 2024 at the Tree Gully Toastmaster Club. This speech was given in two sections. Firstly, I'd like to correct some grammatical errors from the first part of the speech. Price rises due to supply side factors are called supply side causes of inflation. Now, when price increases are due to supply side factors, focusing on demand is not the solution. And high interest rates and monetary policy focus on fixing demand. Again, there are two supply side factors which can increase price, and these are cost of supply and the level of supply. Now I'd like to add in a section which I left out in the 9-minute mark of the first part of the speech. Examples of commodities with price increases due to the level of supply are the housing market and the gas market. Now, in the housing market, prices have gone up as supply is less than demand. In the rental market, shortages of rental properties have increased price, although interest rates have played a role, as owners of rental properties with mortgages have had to push up price to cover costs. In the gas market, it's the lack of reserves kept for the Australian market, which is exposing Australia to high international prices, which is pushing up domestic gas prices. Now I'd like to correct a section that I made on gas price intervention in the second part of the speech. Increases in gas prices can be solved by direct intervention. They do not need indirect mechanisms like the interest rate tax. Now, the Financial Review has already reported that the Australian Competition and Consumer Commissioner has already stated that the big gas companies, are failing to supply sufficient gas for the Australian market. Although there was a gentleman's agreement with the government to supply sufficient reserves for the Australian market. To date, the solution for high gas prices has always been the need to formalise arrangements with the gas companies for them to keep sufficient reserves of their supply of gas just for the Australian market. Gas companies are threatening to supply their gas to high-priced international demand to push up gas prices. That is, they're threatening to sell the bulk of their gas internationally. Now, if governments held reserves of gas just to be sold internally and just for the Australian market, this would reduce domestic gas prices. Although Albanese is starting to act by securing 600 petajoules of gas just for the Australian market, there is no need for interest rates to solve for gas price issues. Sufficient reserves of gas for the Australian market are the solution. Now, in the future, gas prices may rise due to the level of supply gas shortages from the closure of Victoria's biggest gas plant, with the energy market operator forecasting shortages in supply in the southern states by 2028. Again, interest rates will not be the solution. Now, although governments are aiming to have zero emissions by 2050, formalising arrangements with gas companies to keep sufficient reserves of their gas just for the Australian market can solve the short-term gas price issue which currently exists. Now I'd just like to add some statements on government building houses. Now, the government already builds roads and supplies water and sewerage, which are a main component of estate building. Now, the government could build and sell houses at reduced market prices and take out less profit and supply these services. Now, although governments are getting involved in building houses, their involvement will never be sufficient. Governments will never sufficiently get involved in markets to correct them, because politics has moved too far to the right since the time of John Howard. And substantial government involvement in market is currently philosophically poo-pooed by society. Again, I'll just summarise my speech. Outside of correcting for dysfunctional markets, I do not believe that a tax in any form is required, not even the interest rate tax. Now remember, I'm calling monetary policy and high interest rates the interest rate tax. Supply side price increases should be allowed to correct themselves naturally, as these price increases have their own cost of living pressures which do not need to be added to. In addition, currently in the economy, the problems causing inflation are due to supply side factors. They are not due to demand side factors. And high interest rates are focusing on solving for demand side factors. So again, supply side price increases should be allowed to correct themselves naturally, or some high prices may be here to stay. High petrol and electricity prices may be a permanent thing of the future. Thank you for your time.